So here's the deal, folks. My wife and I have been hitched for a solid 8 years. Started pretty good, all rainbows and butterflies. But as time passed, things took a nasty turn. Let me tell you, it was like walking on eggshells around her. Anything and everything seemed to set her off like a ticking time bomb. I'm talking about the tiniest things, like leaving a sock on the floor or forgetting to put the cap back on the toothpaste. Boom! Instant rage mode activated. I'm just sitting there scratching my head thinking, what in the world am I doing wrong? But man, it seemed like there was no escaping her wrath. And trust me, I tried. Oh, how I tried. It's the little things that get to you after a while. She'd get all worked up over the most mundane stuff, and I'd be sitting there clueless as can be, wondering if I somehow stumbled into Jurassic Park. For example, picture this. I come home after a long day at work, all tired and just wanting to unwind. I kick back on the couch, grab the remote, and start channel surfing. And boom, there she goes, huffing and puffing, all upset that I didn't greet her with some grand romantic gesture. I mean, come on, I'm not a Hollywood movie for crying out loud. Or how about this one? I'd be making us some dinner, trying my best to be the Gordon Ramsay of our humble kitchen, and instead of a thanks or great job, hun, she'd find something to criticize, like the seasoning being a smidge off. Seriously? Now, don't get me wrong, I love her and all, but man, the constant nitpicking and negativity were taking a toll on me. I felt like I couldn't do anything right, and it started to mess with my self-esteem. So there I was, stuck in this cycle of frustration and confusion, trying my best to keep the peace, but feeling like I was always walking on thin ice. My wife's got some major anger issues. I've become almost immune to her explosions, but that doesn't mean it doesn't sting like a swarm of bees. When she gets mad, oh boy, it's like a ticking time bomb. But here's the thing. She won't scream at you like a banshee. Oh no, she's got this uncanny way of staying eerily calm. It's like she's mastered the art of delivering those words that hit you right in the gut. The kind that'll leave you speechless. I mean, picture this. We're having a simple argument about something silly like whose turn it is to take out the trash. All of a sudden, she drops this line about how I can't even handle basic household chores, and that's why I'm a disappointment. Or how about this, Gem? We're talking about our plans, and she decides it's the perfect time to casually mention that I'll probably mess everything up like I always do. Talk about a confidence booster. And let me tell you, it's not just the words, it's the way she says them. She all calm and composed like she was handing out compliments instead of cutting me down to size. It's like she's got this secret power to destroy self-esteem with a single sentence. I've tried to talk to her about it and suggest maybe we should consider therapy, work through her anger issues together. But nope, she's got this whole therapy isn't for me mindset. It's like she's allergic to seeking help, even though it could do wonders for her and us. So there we were, talking about our daughter's school issues, and I made a simple, albeit annoyed remark that I wish she took after me a bit more. And then, boom, my wife drops the mother of all bombshells. She claims our daughter is not biologically mine. Talk about a gut punch. Now, let me be real with you. My wife is the queen of pushing my buttons, and I've built up a resistance to her low blows. But this one? Oh boy, this one hit me like a runaway freight train. Still, I wasn't going to give her the satisfaction of seeing me lose it. Nope. I kept my cool and went about my business like nothing happened. But inside my mind was racing like a NASCAR race. I couldn't just ignore a bombshell like that. So I decided to do a little detective work. Sneaky, I know, but desperate times call for desperate measures. I started going through my documents trying to just calm myself down because I didn't want to talk to her. So after the whole is she my daughter or not drama, my wife decided to flip the script on me. She's mad at me. Can you believe it? And why, you ask? Because I dared to be upset about her vicious lie. Talk about a plot twist. Now, let me tell you, keeping my cool through all of this, like walking on hot coals, I mean, who wouldn't be upset after a bombshell like that? But nope, I held my ground and tried to reason with her. But you know what they say about a woman scorned. She turned into a fire-breathing dragon, spewing out all sorts of irrational accusations. She claimed I didn't care if our daughter was biologically mine or not. Like, seriously? Where was she getting this from? And to top it all off, she dared to say that I don't love her or our kid anymore. Like, hold up, lady. Let's not jump to conclusions here. Just 'cause I'm upset about her lies doesn't mean I've suddenly stopped loving my family. But nope, she wasn't having any of it. She kept on yelling, acting all crazy and unreasonable. It was like dealing with a tornado on a rampage. And I was trying my best to stay grounded. And here's the kicker. She even went so far as to threaten our marriage. Can you believe it? She said she was reconsidering our whole relationship because I dared to have feelings and be upset about her lies. Talk about twisting the truth. But you know what, my fellow dudes? I'm not gonna let her crazy accusations and mind games get to me. I know who I am, and I know how much I love my wife and our daughter. Just 'cause we hit a rough patch doesn't mean our whole world has to crumble. Update 1. So it's been a couple of days since the bombshell dropped, and my wife is still on a rampage, spewing hurtful words left and right. It's like a never-ending storm of anger and frustration. I tried my best to keep my cool, but there's only so much a guy can take, you know. She kept saying things that cut like a knife, like how I'm a heartless monster for not instantly forgiving her lies. Seriously, who talks like that? So I finally reached my breaking point and I blurted out the D word. Divorce. Yep, I said it. And let me tell you, she went silent. It was like someone hit the mute button on her, and for a moment, I almost felt relieved. But then reality kicked in and I saw the hurt in her eyes. Maybe I went too far, but at that moment, I couldn't see any other way to stop the chaos. It's like I needed to shake her out of this madness. Now we're stuck in this awkward silence, and I'm wondering if I made the right call. Was it just a heat of the moment thing, or did I mean it? I don't even know anymore. Part of me wants to reach out and talk things through, but the other part is scared of reopening old wounds. It's like walking on a tightrope, and I don't know which step to take next. But deep down, I know that I still love my wife, and I don't want to give up on us. We've been through so much together, and I want to find a way to work through this mess. So let's see how this plays out, shall we? Update 2. So after I dropped the D-bomb on my wife, she's all in a panic, begging me not to take it seriously. Like, lady, you can't just throw that word around and expect everything to go back to normal. She claims she was just mad and didn't mean it, that it slipped out of her mouth by mistake. Yeah, right. I'm not buying it. Words have power, and you can't just take them back like they never happened. I decided to give her the cold shoulder treatment for a while, because honestly, I needed some space to process all of this. But she kept on trying to talk to me like all the time. It's like she's desperate to fix things. But I'm not going to let her off the hook that easily. Finally, I decided to lay down some ground rules. I told her that if we're going to work this out, she needs to get her act together and seek therapy. Yeah, she's got some major issues to deal with, and I ain't going to be her emotional punching bag. Surprisingly, she agreed to it. Thank God for small miracles, right? So now we're on the therapy train, and I'm hoping it'll help her sort out her emotions and stop all the crazy antics. But let me tell you, it's still going to be a bumpy road ahead. Trust is shaken. Feelings are hurt. And I'm not sure if we can ever get back to where we once were. But hey, At least she's willing to work on herself, and that's a start. I'm not ready to give up on us just yet, but she's got to prove that she's willing to change and treat me with the respect I deserve. So let's see where this therapy journey takes us. Update 3. We've had 3 sessions already, and I'm not going to lie, I was skeptical at first. I mean, could talking to a stranger fix all the mess we're in? But hey, I'm willing to give it a shot, and guess what? It's working. I can see some positive changes in her already. She's opening up about her feelings, working through her anger issues, and just being more self-aware in general. It's like a breath of fresh air. Finally, she's not constantly snapping at everything and everyone around her. We're having actual conversations without her going off the deep end. Of course, it's still early days, and I know we've got a long way to go, but for now, I'm cautiously optimistic that things are on the right track. I got to admit, I was worried that therapy might be a temporary fix and she'd revert back to her old ways once the sessions were over. But she seems committed to making real changes, and that gives me hope. Now, don't get me wrong, it's not all rainbows and butterflies. We still have our rough moments, but it's like we're finally moving in the right direction. And let me tell you, it feels good to have some peace and sanity back in our lives. We're not out of the woods yet, but at least we're starting to see some light at the end of the tunnel. NTA, dude, your wife's anger issues were out of control, and suggesting therapy was a great move. Take some space for yourself, heal, and I hope therapy helps you both work through this. NTA, therapy can be a game changer. Take time for yourself, and I hope it brings positive change to your relationship. Hang in there, man. Next story. I recently turned 18, giving me the legal right of being able to get in contact with my father for sperm donors. I was conceived through a sperm donation and have known this for most of my life. I have known since the age of 13 that I was going to want to have a go at making a relationship with my father, biological. However, my parents have always been against this. They have given reasons which are valid points, such as that my father may not want to meet me and I could ruin his life in some ways. Despite their unsupportiveness, I went and did it anyway and found him on Facebook. Of course, I was thinking that anything could happen, but he was one of the nicest people I ever met and proved to me further how much I want a good relationship with him. To cut a long story short, we decided on a place and time to meet each other, and we did. I was able to be brought back to his house, and I met his family, his wife, kids, and brother. He had a sister that I didn't get to meet on that occasion. Upon returning to my home, my parents had sat at the dining table and were waiting for me in silence in an extremely intimidating manner. They asked the usual, "Where have you been?" and "What time do you call this?" Something was fishy from the start, and my suspicions were proved to be correct when my dad said he knew where I had been. This continued for a few weeks where I would spend time with him, and I even introduced him to my girlfriend and her dog as the only people that really supported me through this. My parents' behavior has become increasingly aggressive towards myself and people close to us. It is really making me question my doing here. Was I the a-hole? Edit. Update on the situation. So, as I mentioned as a reply to a comment, this man was on my birth certificate, and I was told by you guys to sit them down and have a conversation with them all. So I did. After my mother returned home from work, I gathered everyone into the lounge, BioDad on Zoom, and asked why he was on my birth certificate. So here's the story. BioDad met Mother 5 years before I was born and had a relationship going on. For that entire time, however, I feel like I should have mentioned this before, but my parents now have been together for just over 30 years. You do the math. That means my mother was having an affair, but in the time that they had been seeing each other, my mother became pregnant with me. My non-bio dad is actually infertile, something I didn't know about till now. So when he found out my mother was pregnant, he reacted in a different way. He was happy for her. She said she didn't want a divorce but was willing to keep the baby with him. He said yes, as they had been trying to have a child for about 11.5 years at the time, with zero luck. So the reason why Biodad was named in the birth certificate was because they had an arrangement together that he would be present at birth without my dad being there, so he would be named on the certificate. And at 18, I would be encouraged to meet him and tell this story. In return, he would tell no one about them and would give monthly payments as well as staying far away from her forever. He upheld his end, but she didn't do the same, which disappointed my bio-dad, but made him very glad that I had contacted him. So now, long story short, if any of you couldn't be bothered to read that, mother had an affair, parents kept me, bio-dad on certificate gets to meet me at 18, and I would be told the story. I in no way will be disowning my current father. He has been the figure that I had needed in my life so many times that I just couldn't even if I wanted to. I will continue to see my bio dad and will keep you updated on the progress if you guys want to be. Edit 2. So basically the entire sperm donor thing just happened to be the first thing they thought of at the time, and they just let me believe their lie. Meet versus don't meet your biological parents is an eternal struggle. Don't hold it against your parents that they didn't want you to go through with it. The experience could have disappointed or hurt you. It may have been too much for you mentally to handle. They don't know the man and whether his entry into your life would have been harmful to you or not. Finally, there's often a fear that you might end up choosing genes over them. It is your right to meet your biological father, and it's awesome that it has been a good experience. Now you need to work with your parents through their resentment and worries. NaH. NTA, but based on your comments along with the reaction of your parents, it seems there is still something going on here. Sperm donors' full names are not usually disclosed to the recipient, so it's odd that he's on your birth cert, if not actually unbelievable given the situation. Ask BioDad to see how he reacts. My guess is it won't be a random sperm donation and there are bigger skeletons in the closet. You could also ask what clinic they used and confirm it with them. I recently turned 18, giving me the legal right of being able to get in contact with my father for sperm donors. End of conversation. NTA. You are an adult now and can make your own decisions. It sounds like this meeting has been a positive experience for you and gave you some closure. Your parents are being aggressive and manipulative. Next story. I, 25, female, am getting married in October 2023 to my fiancé, 29, male. We got engaged in October 2022. Recently, I started picking up bridesmaids. I already have my maid of honor, Jalen, 22, female, but hadn't asked the other two girls I needed, one of them being another friend, and then Haley. And before all this came to light, I was considering Tammy if another friend wasn't able to. Haley agreed to be my bridesmaid, but when I brought up possibly asking Tammy to be a bridesmaid if other friend couldn't do it, Haley told me what Tammy was planning. The night I got engaged, I FaceTimed my friends, Tammy, 27, Haley, 25, Amy, 25, and Danny, 24. Everyone was there minus Danny as she was putting her kids to sleep. Everyone congratulated me and I got off the call to go to dinner with my fiancé. Haley got off the call and Tammy and Amy stayed on to badmouth me and my fiancé, saying that I was rubbing it in their faces. Danny ended up joining the call and heard all this go down and told Haley what happened. In November, Tammy brought up to Haley that she's trying to divorce her husband. They've been separated longer than me and my fiancé and have known each other because she plans to get married the same day as me, but earlier in the day. Keep in mind that I had already had a date picked out since a week after I got engaged. I was very open about that and about the fact we were planning on having a Halloween wedding. Haley recorded the rest of the call. Tammy and Amy tried to justify the date using the excuse that Tammy deserved to be married first. She wasn't even first to begin with. Haley was. In fact, I'm the only one who hasn't been married. I don't know why this all matters to her. Haley told Tammy wouldn't attend if it was the same day and called her an attention seeker. Not even 24 hours later, Tammy was in the group chat crying that her husband said he dragged the divorce out in court. She then went crying to Danny saying that it's not fair, I'm getting married before her, which again is wrong. She also claimed my relationship wasn't valid because I haven't had a relationships like her and therefore can't appreciate my fiancé. She even made a joke that he'd leave me like my last fiancé. The breakup was mutual. In the GC, Tammy asked what my dress would look like. I sent the link to the website I got the dress from, and sure enough, a week later, Danny got confirmation that Tammy got the exact dress and plans to wear it to my wedding. My fiancé, Jalen, Haley, and Danny think I should block her from attending, if not for me, then to keep her from looking like an idiot wearing my dress. But personally, I may be TA here. I want to see her look stupid in front of everyone at my wedding. I know she'll be berated, which would be fine by me considering she couldn't even let me have one day about me. So WIBTA if I let her wear my dress? Why WBTA? Not for her, but for yourself and your fiancé. When you look back to that day, what do you want to remember? How happy and in love you both were, or how that sad person made a fool of herself? You don't need her in your life. Just uninvite her and whoever agrees with her and focus on making this day the best for you as a couple. Start your marriage with happiness and love, not pettiness. The immaturity here is mind-boggling. Tammy is getting married the same day as you in the same dress as you. She plans to leave her wedding and reception to come to your wedding while wearing the same dress, as if this was some sort of who wore it better competition just to cause drama at your wedding. You want to let her so she can be berated and look stupid without any regard for the wedding being the groom's day as well? Is this really how you want to start your marriage? I'm not sure either of you is mature enough for marriage, but that isn't the question. As to your question, you WBTAH, if you invite her and let her wear your dress after your fiancé has expressed his opinion on the matter. ESH, it's not just your day. Your fiancé is also getting married and he doesn't seem to want her parading around in the same dress trying to make a scene. Your friends all sound uncomfortable with it. Your family would almost certainly not appreciate it. Putting everyone in an awkward, uncomfortable position because you want to be petty and embarrass her is not really okay. Nor does it accomplish anything. She isn't going to learn her lesson or anything. She'll just be even more jealous that you have such loyal friends. Although it would be super funny to have pictures together with her, LOL. Stay tuned for more stories from our girl relationships.